Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jana Walser-Smith, Director of Interstate Compliance and Member Outreach here at the State Authorization Network. Today, I have the extreme pleasure of welcoming my friend, Miss Nikki Bryant from Southern New Hampshire University, located in Manchester, New Hampshire. So, Southern New Hampshire is a 2024 recipient of the Sensational Award in the category of location. The SNHU product, and SNHU is what they call it, the SNHU project impressed the awards committee with their project entitled Identifying Student Location and Reporting Such Information. So before I get into the details of this sensational award-winning SNHU project, please allow me the latitude to explain a little bit about the Sensational Awards. They were born in 2015 as an annual award as a way of recognizing outstanding efforts by our members, by member institutions, member organizations, when they were developing not only high quality, but comprehensive solutions to these challenging distance education compliance issues that we all face. So, in effect, SAN now applauds and celebrates every year the creativity and the vision of these organizations as they've shown us that they are exhibiting leadership when they are helping us to address such issues. Their projects typically underscore the fact that they not only understand the state and the federal regulatory requirements, but they've also dug into these things to conceptualize and put into effect processes on their respective campuses that mobilize their campuses, provide communications, and provide procedures to work through, again, these regulatory issues. So it is without further ado that I do introduce you to Miss Nikki Bryant so that she can take you through the SNHU project. Nikki, welcome.
Thank you so much, Jana. And first, I want to say good afternoon to everybody, and thank you so much for the opportunity to present. Of course, I am incredibly grateful and honored to accept this award on behalf of Southern New Hampshire University and everyone who was involved in this very important effort. This project was a true collaboration across many departments at SNHU, first being the Office of General Counsel and Compliance. That's where I work out of. We were able to, with our legal team, provide regulatory guidance, of course. The IT department was responsible for the technical integration of the automated notifications. The university registrar was also involved in managing manual updates and record keeping. And then student experience and advisement team, ensuring that the process was, of course, student-centered and supportive. So each of these teams played a vital role in making our student location policy both effective and student-friendly, most importantly. Today, I'll share how SNHU's approach to tracking student location has set a new standard in compliance while supporting our students on their educational journey. Sorry, flipped too quick. So the Sensational Award, as Jana said, we're so honored that it's presented to us by the State Authorization Network, which supports, of course, as you know, higher education institutions with regulatory compliance and out-of-state activities. The award recognized us for best practices and innovation, of course, in the location category. So this recognition really motivates us to continue to refine our compliance practices as a model for other institutions addressing that critical need, particularly for student license and distance education programs. SNHU's location policy aims to maintain accurate and up-to-date records of student location to ensure compliance with state and federal regulations. With over 200,000 learners worldwide, keeping precise location data allows us to meet regulatory requirements, particularly for students in distance and licensure programs. Our goal is to set a standard for compliance while also enhancing student experience through a seamless process. Our location policy took effect on July 1 of 2024 in alignment with the federal regulation 34 CFR 668.14B32, which mandates accurate student location tracking. We require that all Prospective and current students report their physical location at enrollment, with updates occurring biannually to keep student records up to date. Biannual updates frequently balance the need for accurate real-time data with efficient, manageable processes for students and staff alike. Developing and implementing this policy was a true collaborative effort involving key departments at SNHU. So as I mentioned earlier, of course, the Office of General Counsel and Compliance, ensuring that the policy was aligned with the federal and state regulations. Our IT department built the automated notification system, very seamlessly integrating it with the student portal. The university registrar managed manual updates, ensuring accurate records and compliance documentation. And the advisement and student experience team refined the process to be very student friendly, providing additional support wherever needed. The cross-departmental collaboration was essential for a smooth, compliant, and effective rollout, with each team playing a vital role through coordinated efforts and a shared focus on regulatory compliance and student support. To streamline the location update process, we utilized what we call My SNHU portal, student-friendly portal, to display automatic pop-ups, which are notifying students twice a year, prompting the student to either confirm or update their current location. Additionally, students have the flexibility to report changes by email as well. This technology-first approach minimizes administrative hassle, enables compliance to fit naturally into the student experience. SNHU advisors play a key role in ensuring compliance by providing tailored guidance to students when they update their location, with automatic notifications allowing advisors to promptly address any implications of state-specific licensure requirements. For students relocating to a new state, advisors offer additional support, guiding them through the necessary steps, such as updating their acknowledgement form to confirm their understanding of the new requirements. This proactive approach ensures that students receive support through their program, helping them stay, of course, compliant and informed, regardless of where they relocate. SNHU uses various systems to manage location data, including the My SNHU, as I just talked about, for the initial notification, Colleague to update the system compliance tracking, and which we are going to banner, and Sonia for managing clinical placements. And that's like nursing and counseling programs, our licensure programs. These systems work together to keep student location data accurate and up to date, streamlining processes for compliance and reducing the workload for administrative staff. By requiring these biannual updates, we maintain a steady flow of accurate data without placing an unnecessary burden on the student or the staff member. This schedule allows SNHU to stay informed about potential student relocations without overwhelming our system. The update frequency ensures that our compliance efforts are timely and manageable, with data accuracy high enough to meet federal and state regulations. Our communication process is key in making this initiative successful. So the pop-up notifications serve as the initial prompt. The advisors follow up with the students when necessary. Weekly reviews of address changes help us stay up to date on these address changes. For example, when a student reports a change of address, we request that they update their acknowledgement form, which also reflects their new location requirements for that particular program. Through consistent reminders and advisor outreach, we ensure students understand the importance of updating their location and the potential impact to their program. SNHU's approach is scalable and adaptable, providing a strong model for other institutions seeking to improve their compliance with federal and state regulations. This policy integrates technology, compliance, and student advisement, setting a best practice standard for others to follow. We are committed to leading by example and sharing a framework that institutions can replicate to address similar regulatory challenges in higher education. So, in closing, SNHU's location tracking policy is a very innovative, collaborative solution to a complex compliance requirement, as you know, but also setting a new standard for regulatory alignment with student support. This project's success is due to the dedication of multiple departments working together and creating a system that is effective to serve both the compliance needs and the student experience. Thank you so much to SAN for this award and the opportunity to share our approach today. I'm happy to take any questions about SNHU's experience with implementing this process.
SNU is a phenomenal institution, and I think I'm a little partial since I'm a former employee of SNU, although I had nothing to do with the naming and selection of the SNU project, but I am very impressed and always have been impressed with the way things operate there. It is a well-oiled machine for those who may not know. So, Nikki, I'm going to get into a little bit about this process. Talk to us. Can you speak to the audience about, what you deem to be the most challenging aspect of implementing this project?
Absolutely. I feel like the hardest part for us was, of course, placing the need of accurate real time data with making sure the process was easy for both staff and students.
Hmm.
It takes a lot of coordination, as you might know, across all departments, especially the size of SNU, to create a system that keeps everyone compliant and again simple to use. So on top of that, managing the very unique requirements of each student in a specific licensure program takes on a whole other layer of complexity,
Hmm. Hmm.
especially when we have so many students in licensure programs that are spread out throughout the states. So those are some challenges that we had, but we were able to, as large as SNU is, we were able to work through those successfully.
Okay, perfect. I want to ask you this. I know that, your role, you mentioned it earlier, and I know that that role falls within the office of the general counsel. So, what advice would you consider giving others? Like, who should they be looking to as their stakeholders, or who should they, go to? What would be the first step? Is it making sure that your leadership is, giving you the support? Or do you go to your IT department and say, hey, here's what we want to do? What do you recommend as far as stakeholder engagement?
I think both of those things are true, but first and foremost, I think that students are the most important stakeholders. So getting students' feedback was especially important in this process. We didn't want to overwhelm students. They have so many emails, as you know, to look through anyway. We didn't want to overwhelm them. So
Mhm.
students are definitely our most important stakeholders. I would say, especially those in the licensure and distance education programs,
Mhm.
because their success depends on like where their location, state specific location.
Mhm.
So accurate tracking is necessary. Of course, advisors are also key. They guide the students through the process of making sure that they handle any of the impacts from the location changes. And then, of course, behind the scenes, is the boots on the ground work. I mean, we were working so hard, compliance teams, IT, the registrar, student services team, all had to work together to make sure that this system was going to run smoothly and, of course, be effective. And of course, when you're talking about stakeholders, of course, federal and state regulators are also major stakeholders because, they set the standards for what we have to meet. So we had
Mhm.
to really consider all of those things. But it was a true collaborative effort. And then I think that's probably the part that I am the most proudest of in this process, developing this process, is that SNU is genuinely, everything what we do at SNU is such, a team effort, and everybody's ready to jump on board and help each other. And so I'm so grateful to be part of that team.
Perfect. And I can attest to that. There is certainly that culture there at SNU where everybody is amiable and wants to help and wants to make the best outcome again for the students. So I want to ask you this last question. If you're in a smaller institution, of course, SNU's one of the largest out there. If you're a smaller institution, a team of one maybe, where would you recommend that a person wanting to do something like that, say if they already have Banner in place, I know you're moving to Banner, or some system in place wherein they can manage this type of process, where would you recommend that they start?
I think the first place you have to start is with your compliance team, getting the right people at the table, the right people that are going to be responsible for implementing a program like this. So that's, of course, your compliance team, your IT team, advisements, and then student services, of course. um, I think the first thing you have to do when you get those people together is to make sure that they understand the regulation that you're working with, like within the parameters of what we have to do, what we're responsible for doing. And again, especially for this project, especially the licensure distance education
Mhm.
programs. So, and then you build a system integrating that student location tracking into whatever existing platform that you might have. It doesn't necessarily take you purchasing another data management system. I'm sure that there's other things within the system that you have already, and that's
Mhm.
important because you can automate some of this stuff instead of the advisor being solely responsible for reaching out to the student
Mhm.
however many times a semester and making sure their information hasn't changed. That's a lot of work. So if you can automate this process, it's so much easier for the staff, easier for the student. um, and I think, again, very important is when you do have a process in place and you think that this is a great process and we should roll this out. I think doing it with the knowledge of this this may not be the most perfect process in the beginning. So let's roll it out to a small group of students, see how they respond to that, and then work out any tweaks that you might need to work out, and then you're set to go and rolling it out to the bigger group. For SNU, we rolled it out to our on-campus students, which is a much smaller population than what we have online. So we did that first. It was very effective. It was received well. It worked out any tweaks that we had with, of course, the IT side, and then we were able to roll it out to what we call our GC, our global students population. And of course, it has been a success. So very proud of the process that we had put in place, especially within the short period of time I think that we had to work with, like many institutions. So collecting that team, working together as we did, and implementing that process is something that I am extremely proud of.
Well, my hat is off to the team there. This is such a phenomenal project, and we wish you much continued success. So, Nikki, thank you for joining us today. Again, thank you for sharing this information with the SAN membership. I'm sure there'll be questions, and people will want to know more about your implementation process, even probably timeline. So, if there are people out there with questions, please feel welcome to email me at SAN, and I will get those questions over to Nikki very promptly. Again, Nikki, thank you so much for your time here today.
Thank you, Jana.